I know I've said several times now that this or this other video is the side quest video. This is the side quest video. We are finishing everything except for the secret mini bosses, which are going to get their own. That's actually the very next video.
Everything, and we're finally going to install into the cloister the kitchen sink.
Mm.
We have everything else.
Yeah, you remember last time we had to take everything off in order to get the extra reward. So I just reapplied some pieces here, and we're gonna do a bit more cleanup.
Still liking the Dark Jedi look that you're rocking here. This is a pretty dope outfit for the second playthrough. Like, you have played through it quickly, and now you know your route, and you are the expert of Custodia, right? Expert. I'm not setting you up here for a fall, I promise.
So this is the last Confessor dungeon in this room here. We'll be getting that last story upgrade for the Thorn that that was given to us.
I still love the way that those come down just enough that you can squeak on through. They're sometimes kind of mean that you have them equipped. And by the way, I've been playing a little game called Metroid Prime for the very first time recently. And I'm very much reminded of bombing certain statues of bird-like creatures when you destroy these to get into their dungeons. I just thought I'd mention, because Metroid Prime is a great game, and I never quite understood where the Metroid part of Metroidvanias came from. Have you guys played actual Metroid, actual Castlevania, the real ones?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I haven't until just recently. I was too poor for game consoles, and now I'm not. Oh, and man, retro games are awesome.
Yeah, so Romance to the Crimson Mist was the spell we were just using there. That is the fart gas that we acquired at the end of last video. It is, yeah, essentially its main weakness gameplay wise is that you can't really stack it with anything. It feels like the kind of spell that would be more useful if you could combine it with other spell casting, but as I mentioned before in this Let's Play, there is a universal cooldown timer on all prayers. So even if you switch to one or back and forth between one of them, you can only have the one that you have currently used at any time.
I love the concept, right, that they give you all of these moves, and they just allow you to hit multiple enemies with them, because, again, a lot of these retro games, they don't let you do that, but then I've been playing Castlevania and such, and they just kind of make you a hitbox for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I don't know. The way that this game specifically is mimicking some of the aspects of that makes it almost more faithful than some of the others that I've played. Faithful, very good thing, I guess, to describe this game. But I mean that it does feel like more of a direct reference to a game like Castlevania. That I will never get over that one.
Oh.
I forget exactly what that enemy type is called. I think it's called the Wandering Tomb. There's a much larger variant that we've seen before, like at the in the Silent Canvases. There was a big version of that walking tomb that was guarding the entrance.
I mean, that's the one thing actually that I noticed this game is missing. In contrast, funnily enough, what do you think about this? In contrast to what I was just going on about. Well, this game is obviously meant to be quite difficult in its stylings, and, you know, it's a low medieval fantasy game. Do you think that it's Dark Souls-esque still? Because I don't think this is much of a Souls-like title. Would you consider it that?
I mean, it has some of the trappings of it. As we'll see, one of the later New Game Plus paths changes the way that the Tears of Atonement mechanic works to be a bit closer to the way that Souls work. And I mean, you've got the Bile Flasks. This, by the way, Seashell of the Inverted Spiral is just a catch-all a catch-all elemental protection. It doesn't provide as much protection as any of the other rosary beads would against any other elemental type, but that's just it's like a universal one.
Gotcha.
I have a question, and it's a very dumb question, but at some point in this LP, do you ever equip any of the do you ever equip all of the elemental resists at once? Because you know what you have to do, right?
I don't think so, no. I can only think of really the only boss that I could think of is the final boss, because he's the only one that uses, well, no, he's one of like maybe 2 or 3 bosses in the game that use more than one elemental attack at once.
That's actually a fair gameplay reason not to do that, but if you've got the Infinity Rosary Bead now, my friend, you really should have gone for the helmet. Plank! Put the sound effect in there.
And if you remember this side quest,
Yeah, where did they go?
they went somewhere.
Well,
And whatever happened to
away.
them, their story is over.
No, but it's like the birth of a spider. I was right. It was like a weird cocoon nest of hair.
It's probably on the ceiling.
No, I mean, it's better than being under your computer chair.
It's true.
I once saw an image that, of course, came from the image board 4chan of a poison head crab photoshopped underneath a computer chair. And I don't know. I kind of had to get up.
I will not be sharing that particular image. I will not be editing it into the video.
No, that's
as I
one
sometimes
editing
do.
job I won't ask that of you. I think no one would, my man. Thank you for discretion on that.
Nobody wants that. I have trust issues. Thanks, 4chan.
Yep. There you go. We can thank the internet for our trust issues. And the funny thing I would say about this game is that it is almost restoring my faith in trusting these weirdos. Because Souls games really have trained me to be skeptical of laughing, jovial weirdos out there. Nope. He just wanted help crossing the chasm to kiss the feet of the statue, okay?
So we got these 2 moves here. There's also the 7th, the very last one, which I've said before was tied to a specific side quest. We will be doing that side quest in this video.
Ooh.
Why, there should definitely be like some kind of promise fulfilled Trudeau meter for this LP, and it's like rising by the minute, my friend, by the moment. When are the oil prices gonna come down? In Custodia, not Canada.
They're coming down in the unannounced 3rd game, I suppose.
Okay, I'm down for that. You have the ability to do that as like the master of Blasphemous. Like you're basically like the master of ceremonies of presenting this LP. So you have the ability to make up whatever the hell you want, cuz I don't know if in Blasphemous 2 they imply he's going to have a son or something that will be like John Jr. Little John
Son.
Blasphemous.
So you remember this this particular clone? We
Yeah.
fought many of him before. There's an easy trick to deal with him. Is just he just runs off the side.
Try jumping, Esdras.
So it's been a while since our last recording, and I realize now that despite doing a quick recap on my end, I've forgotten the names of almost every character. So this will be a perfect time for me in post to snidely remark on that.
I will say that remarking in media res is brilliant, though, to preempt yourself such that later you can further de-escalate your own pride. I like this humility. You would fit in well in Custodia, my friend.
I don't think I have the pain tolerance for it.
See, nor do I. That's the thing I don't understand about this world, is how fucking blasé all these people are in the face of their limbs bleeding every day in penance. I
You
can't
get
handle a
used to
paper
the
cut
leprosy.
And that's also an almost secret pretia that connects Mother of Mothers and the Archcathedral rooftops.
Wait, Yeah, wait, you had to fall down to get that, didn't you? Because that ladder was up. Rad. That's cool. That's a Hollow Knight-esque shortcut. I like those ones that are little one-way streets.
I have not been using Mea Culpa Hearts that much in the 2 playthroughs, but Heart of Oils is going to be particularly useful, especially because the New Game Plus path that we take does not nerf our sword damage significantly, so we could actually make use of its power.
I was gonna say, is that the reason you haven't been on this playthrough is because of your self-affliction?
And here's a weird bit of jank. So the mid-level fade transitions seem to be manually applied to everything, which means that if you enter the pause menu or the inventory menu at the right time, it's just sort of weirdly blacked out in a way. It's the kind of bug that probably would have been flagged as will not fix because it doesn't actually break anything. It just looks weird.
Hold on, though. You remember going through tunnels on Highway 17 in Half-Life 2, though? It would go pitch black during a loading screen due to the HDR. Yeah, like that.
And also something I hadn't really showed off yet is that, well, yes, when you do die repeatedly, your prayer power decreases. It doesn't quite work the way I thought it did, but
oh shit! Really?
You'll see how it works in a minute. So we are now at 50%, which is the maximum amount that our bar can be cut off, our magic bar.
What were you saying about Dark Souls before?
Nothing. Never mind. Self-demonstrated, I think, actually.
When you are at max guilt, it means that sometimes your prayers just don't work at all.
Oh.
And other times they are significantly decreased in power.
Ooh.
Brutal. That's really brutal on specifically this accursed playthrough. But in any, does the game let you know that?
Not directly. Also, there was a heart over here, I think. But just off to the left is another Child of Moonlight. We've only got a couple of them left.
My baby boy.
Oh my goodness, we do. You're starting an entire nursery of these little cherubs. You've been picking them up so smoothly, I suppose, that I haven't really acknowledged them. But like, if you're just playing, will you have to go search for them?
Yeah, you get it's actually one of the few side quests in the game that actually has a tracker on the in-game map when you pause, and it shows you how many out of 38 you've collected, but it doesn't show you which ones you've already picked up, and it doesn't give you any hints about where the others are. So you basically either need a guide or you need to be very patient.
They're adorable. And in that way, it is like raising real children. You've got to be patient, and you have no idea where they are, and you're terrified of their location.
For the last Child of Moonlight, we're going to do a trick shot.
Oh! Woo! Yeah! That was so cool!
I was pretty proud of that one.
Celebratory superhero landing. I like it. Okay. I'm so excited to find out what actually is the reward for this now that, I mean, it's become apparent you've been doing it the whole time. Again, it was so smooth. Look at that. You got 92% map completion this playthrough.
The percentage goes over 100 when you have DLC installed. I think 130, maybe 120 is the max.
That's awesome. That's
Oh, God!
Awesome.
Are your returning steps? You have found all of my brothers imprisoned by the miracle.
I guess that's one unintentional positive side effect of there being so much time between recordings, is that you are re-experiencing these characters we've already met as if it were for the first time.
This piece of moon. With it, one of my holy brethren will join you whenever necessary.
Oh.
Try to be the heart, penitent one in good fortune.
Wonderful.
So this basically gives you like little co-pilots that you would see in a shmup, except they're cherubs.
We've got options.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yo!
Yeah. I was hoping for a little familiar. Oh yeah. So this, you have to unequip any other magic for this, but do they stick around if you put something else on?
They do, actually. It is one of the rare exceptions where, because, well, you'll see how it works, is that it summons the option, and then the cooldown timer works where each time one gets used, well, you know what, I'm actually going to show it off in a few seconds here. It's probably best to see it in action.
I mean, you know what? All I can say is thanks, Gore Baby. Like, we've heard Dumpster Baby, now there's Gore Baby, and that thing is a friend. Oh yeah, laser babies.
Yo!
So this is basically our equivalent of the fairies that Gabriel Belmont sacrificed in Lords of Shadow.
I mean, our reward is that they will fight for us. Wonderful. Welcome to the cause,
That's
little
right.
fellas.
And it's
Although,
my favorite corner in the game.
that's right, it's this room. Maybe not perhaps the best to show it off.
So I put off this particular section for a while because I mentioned before that when you use the blood perpetuated in sand, there's an extra room up at the top, and I think I may have like overhyped it in my own mind because while it was difficult, it wasn't nearly as treacherous as I thought it would be. Like it was more at an 8 out of 10 instead of a 10.
Oh, it's like looking down from a height, though there is a railing in front of you keeping you safe. You still feel the danger.
Yeah,
of the
and right
giant
there
sensor.
I had the pelican effigy equipped. I would have been hit by the sensor had I not had it equipped.
Ooh. All right, hang on though. I do see your apprehension.
This is not the tough part. This is just the entrance to the room, and that's where things get really difficult.
Oh, is there another larger? I hope there are 2 sensors. Shit!
Well, there's one.
I really recently have learned about this concept called hubris. I've got to apologize in advance.
So I think I've pointed it out, but when you use the blood perpetuated sand, you have to hit every platform in order.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, it's a chain.
You can't skip. Okay. And oh my goodness, you did it. You got them all. Oh, you don't have them all yet. What? Why did it give
There's
you
2
that?
more
then?
that were DLC.
Oh,
The-
you got them all.
So, Smoky Heart of Incense, it doubles the power of your prayers, but it also means that it takes 1 extra bar to use them.
For
So
this
double
playthrough, that
double
seems
power and
great.
double cost. Yeah.
No, that seems great for this playthrough. Are you gonna end up using that?
Yeah, for this one, absolutely. It won't be as
Yeah.
useful for the other ones.
Oh,
which
hell.
I also forgot to mention that in the other New Game Plus path that we'll be seeing, one of the changes that makes is that when you die, so normally when you die, it like adds like 5 or 10% guilt to your bar that you can't use it. On that New Game Plus, on the New Game Plus path we'll be taking later, you die once, it maxes out to 50%.
Oh no.
I mean, I played a game called Demon Souls, so I am a little used to it. I guess the thing I said earlier about this not being very Souls-like, you can make it Souls-like if you like that level of punishment.
Yeah, I mean, it's still at its heart. It's still more or less a more traditional 2D Metroidvania, but it definitely has Souls-like aspects. I was trying to show off a glitch here where at a very specific spot, you can drop down from the top platform while skipping the ladder. It's, like, even as a speedrunning tactic, it's not very useful, but it's fun to do.
Well, I mean, you've got those long fall boots, I assume he's
Yeah.
wearing. That he doesn't take very much fall damage unless it's
Well, you remember last time we left Nacimiento, he was giving birth to the old man, and now, well, I mean, Benjamin Button over here seems to be doing all right.
I understand what's going on here. I've seen Alien.
I'm glad that John Blasphemous felt no need to interact there. He just was like, yep, I've seen enough.
The miracle did not allow him to interact. It took away the Y button prompt.
Or maybe the little fella just needs more time to gestate that cute little baby fella. I mean, I'm glad we're checking up on all these side quests, but can I say that their completed states are leaving me feeling empty inside, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's definitely a central theme of the side quests is the easing of pain, however you define that. A lot of people in Custodia find that living itself is a pain too great to bear, and thus you help them to die with some dignity and relatively painlessly.
Yeah, it's dark, but also not so much.
My version of Opera just updated. I'm going to, and unfortunately put me back on 20 seconds, but I'm hoping that it comes up right here. You're seeing the Chalice of Inverted Verses?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. It's not a very rusty iron cup. Hang on, that sprite is not rusty at all.
So you see those 3 icons there. Those are 3 enemies that only show up in specific regions. And we have to kill all of them. And not just kill all of them, but do it in one life without using the Marabras, without using any Pretias or any other form of fast travel.
Oh, God.
What?
I am so undeservedly proud of the fact that I was able to get the video sync back on track, even after Opera closed and reopened by itself.
I mean, I am really impressed with that improvisation. It's like someone threw a baseball at you and said, think fast, and not only did you catch it, you pulled a double play.
So, yeah, the idea is that we are filling the Chalice of Inverted Verses with the blood of these 3 particular enemies.
I noticed you had one already done, which is nuts.
Well, that's a trend that may or may not continue here. Lorkiana is great. So
Is that movie magic that... I'm sorry I said anything. I spoiled the illusion that this was a completely uncut Let's Play, unedited. How much of a pain is this actually?
it is, you have to be very careful, which I was not on this attempt.
Are you sure about that? I mean, if you keep hacking away, you'll get him eventually. It's like carving up turkey.
Well, it's because that his bouncing fireball, the Armagora's bouncing fireball, bounces directly in front of the enemy to start. So if you're already next to him and within melee range, you're probably going to get hit by that first fireball.
Oh, it's a back off move. They want you to stay at range. They don't want you to pet that dog. That's a dog with a job. I noticed that those things that are crawling around have the same kind of like lengthy limbs and hairstyle as the side quest.
Yeah, the religion
spider.
of Custodia seems to think of the miracle's power entirely as a gift, but you know, that just seems to be their way of coping, I suppose. It really is a crapshoot as to whether you'll be the all-powerful leader of a religion or you'll end up someone like Nacimiento.
Yeah, really, there has seemingly been no real rhyme or reason to it, I've noticed, where it's kind of like, if you ask for it, you'll get it in like a genie's wish, monkey's paw kind of a situation where, you want these folks to avoid all pain and grievous injury on their crusade? All right, it's coming to you instead. Every last paper cut and stubbed toe.
So this is my attempt to, while simultaneously fast forwarding, also just get across the idea of how long the trek is between areas.
This is a fucking insane level of effort. Way to go, homie. And also, what a schlep.
Is the juice worth the squeeze is the question that we're all asking.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Given the move that we will unlock, which is the final move that you can unlock for the Mea Culpa, I would say it is absolutely worth it, depending on your playstyle. For most playstyles, it's definitely a good thing.
I wouldn't do it if I were playing the game myself. I wouldn't go to this effort, but I respect it. I respect the game for putting in something like this as your capstone. Like the last thing. It's like, hey, you leveled this sword up. Go out and fight with it now.
Yeah, and this is not a New Game Plus thing. You can absolutely, do this on your first run if you want.
Do you get to keep sword skills in New Game Plus? All right. Finally, all these things that get taken away from you, and I've been looking this whole time for some reason to play this in New Game Plus, and it's like, they don't take your sword skills.
Your sword skills go over your prayers, go over relics, pretty much anything that isn't directly a story item. Along with the health fervor and the bile vessels.
There you go. See, it is like it's predecessors of the genre in that way, in that they keep the wave beam, they keep the various suit for New Game Plus, but they took away the keys.
Another classic that's more of a Castlevania thing than it has than Metroid is that it has a boss rush, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not very good at the bosses, and B, there's really not much you get from that. It's called Sacred Sorrows, is the boss rush that was added as DLC. The idea being that you import your save file, and in that case, in Sacred Sorrows, that actually everything carries over just to that one boss rush mode.
Is it just for funsies? Is there like
it's
timing?
For you get a costume. You get achievements in a costume. That's it.
Conversely to what I just said, I'd do it for the costume.
Yeah, we're going to be getting plenty of costumes already. By the way, this room also has a separate puzzle. We're not going to be doing that, though. That's for playthrough 3. Mostly because I forgot this time. But that specific room with the white circles.
You got to learn how to read Hylian script in order to translate the binary backwards to decode that room.
Ancient Custodian, which is just regular English ciphered through Route 13.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then you replace all of the U's with V's.
So here we go. The final move of the Mea Culpa. The Bleeding Miracle. It adds an explosive effect to the edge of our blood boomerang.
Cool.
Oh,
Splash
Lord.
damage.
Oh.
You got hepatitis.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is also an upgrade to our charge attack that we got earlier. It was one of the 2 moves that we upgraded like about 10-15 minutes ago.
Does it now hit twice? In the boomerang and then the explosion?
It does. It treats it kind of like the Cloistered Ruby, in that it takes the same basic damage power and just boosts it forward. The third move that we unlocked earlier is just an upgrade to the downward strike, the ground pound, which adds another bit of AoE to that. But you have to drop from a certain height or above.
Okay, so maybe he's got long fall cleats. They're spiked boots. That's fine. Can you Goomba stomp in this game?
No.
What about Blasphemous 2?
I don't think so either. But you use down X to stop. You can't actually jump on enemies. That's contact damage.
It'll have to suffice. It'll have to suffice.
So we're about to go to the ossuary. We collected all the bones.
This is a momentous occasion. I can feel mine rattling in anticipation. Can you feel yours trying to escape your body?
I should see a doctor about that.
I don't know. I would say that there are certain visuals in this game that remind me that bonitis is a regular thing in Custodia. I mean, we also haven't
interacted with the ossuary warden at all, which makes parts of this very funny.
Oh, penitent one. Welcome to the ossuary of all those who will be eternally remembered.
Wait, was he here before?
Yeah, we saw him in playthrough number 1, but we only turned in a couple of bones. Also, he was speaking Spanish.
You know what? That's it. This is his cousin. This is his... Okay, I see now. Different guy.
Centuries have passed. The bones speak to us. through their creaking and grinding, and through their silence. But these remains need one another in order to reveal the truth they still guard within. Only together, in intimate brotherhood, will they achieve eternal rest. For this,
No, I am not looking for any humoruses. Please stop asking.
bring them
John Blasphemous is like, but I've got a funny bone to pick with you.
My friend, that is not a bone, that is a muscle. So check this shit out. Ossuary Warden, I just put you out of a job.
Oh, now that's satisfying.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ, that's a lot of bones.
Make a whole anatomical skeleton out of them.
I always thought that the humerus was a muscle instead of a bone, but no, it actually is a bone.
Of course it is.
Only slightly disappointed there's not a skeleton boss that comes from this.
There is a boss. The
it's-
boss is
oh.
not a skeleton. We've talked
What's-
about this bonus boss before, but this is not a... The boss itself is not a skeleton, but it is definitely something you can get specifically from 30 out of 46 of the bones, which was very, very helpful for me because you have to beat this boss again in order to get the third ending.
Oh my. Good on you for going the distance with all of the various bits and pieces. Congratulations.
ready hear the ancient aria. The lady who sang to the bones has awoken.
Finally, you've collected it. The pterodactyl skeleton I was looking for.
They bid you welcome.
Finally, my custom game of operation is complete.
Thank you for bringing me this jigsaw puzzle. I've been so very bored down here.
My mission here has ended.
And I just clocked in for the day.
No longer watch over the bones. It is they who will now watch over me.
Oh god, I was just about to make that joke too.
I guess I'm the one who's boned. Well, it was nice meeting you. I'm glad that we gave him essentially his pink slip.
So I have to be very careful as to what I bring into this boss.
Why?
Well, we'll see. First of all, though,
Darkness.
this is a hint.
Okay, so invincible while she's singing. Got it.
You know, or she just gets really locked in and focused.
So this is Isadora, Voice of the Dead. Originally, the ossuary didn't have any rewards beyond money. Isadora was added as part of the third ending in the last batch of DLC. The Tienta was very useful against her because you definitely want, that kind of temporary invincibility against her.
I love her winding up that baseball swing at your ass. Like,
Yeah.
this is some real Ruby style design. I hope there's a shotgun on the end of that thing, too. This is such a different level of sprite design than the rest of the game. It's fascinating.
It's almost like they had a couple extra months to work on it.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say is, like, this looks visually more complex, and I'm happy about it. I'm glad for it because it means, like, this is the level they had for the DLC, for the free update stuff. This is the stuff that they would have done with the level of detail if they had more time, and it's dope. Is it fun to fight, though? Because it looks
Yes.
like it. I like parry-warring this. Wait, it's like she's like a quarter of the way dead. This is a long fight.
It is. Although, admittedly, because we're on the New Game Plus path that nerfs our sword power, I mean, it's not as long as it will be on the third playthrough, which I'm not entirely sure if I could do that off screen or not. Depends on how I feel, I suppose. So the other big gimmick with Isadora is that she is the voice of the dead. She is singing constantly. She will not let you interrupt her, which in gameplay translates to you cannot switch rosary beads or prayers in the middle of the fight.
Oh, you can't bring up the pause menu?
Your pause menu is completely disabled. In fact, at some point in this video, I show it off. That there's
Kronos!
there is a text box that appears. I don't remember exactly where it is, but it says something like, "The voices of the dead will not be silenced."
Holy shit, that's awesome. I love one-time gimmicks like that. I love it. No hot bar for you, jerk. Guess this ain't a Souls game after all.
There it is. There's that.
Yeah!
There's the one.
Thank goodness you put on the sucker parry before you came in here. Thanks, Sakura. This is just Naruto now. Look at how anime it's getting. I love that the room has two different entire sprite backgrounds for when it's dark and when it's light. That is level of attention to detail they did not need to do, because they could have just made it like blue and orange tinted. Nope.
Yeah.
They metal slugged this room.
It's funny you brought up Naruto, because isn't that a property where a ton of the villains get redeemed unjustifiably just because they were nice once?
Yeah, it is.
That is not the case. Not the case at all. No one gets redeemed, whether they deserve it or not.
You know what? You're right. The redemption has come from us in the form of fulfilling side quests and the last wishes of the people in this miserable world. You're right.
Yeah.
The boss fights and all that, they ain't got nothing.
The closest you get to redemption in the world of Blasphemous is you don't have to suffer anymore.
But I kind of wish that sometimes, but like, I'm not gonna get it.
You spent your summer in Custodia, I see.
Well, I have a condo there, but it's kind of fallen apart recently. Needs some repairs. Do you know any castle repair services?
The only ones I know are in Transylvania, so.
Nuts! That's the thing, is like, rural eastern Spain is the only place I know of that repairs dilapidated houses, and I recently dilapidated it of handyman.
It sure is a shame that the Custodian Transylvanian Embargo Act of 1850 is still in place.
This is a long fight, but I really like that in a way, because you've used everything now, and you've been really good about using the Sakura parry when you can. Like, it's yeah.
Oh, that's satisfying.
So the item that Isadora drops is something that's not going to make sense yet. It is actually a story item for the third ending. Also, we get another costume. But this will only make sense on playthrough number 3. But it will make sense then.
Bro, you stole her orb. She was trying real hard to keep her hands on that orb. Reading the description of the orb feels like opening the Elder Scroll when you first get it. We probably shouldn't be doing this. Seen too much? Yeah, you're right.
So this is pretty much everything like in the base game that we're going to be doing on playthrough number 2. Next video is going to be exclusively the Amanecidas, the super bosses that were added in the second major DLC pack. So we're going to be fighting those back to back to back to back.
Oh boy, you're gonna get a boss rush, viewers, even if it's not the boss rush. Hell yeah, my friend, hell yeah. Can I say that I hope they're not all as difficult as this one, because if you have to pee, you're screwed. It's like a Metal Gear cutscene.
Well, I mean, they don't force you to not use the pause button, but they are much harder than this boss, each and every one.
That's true, but I'm just thinking of, like, what if you're fighting Isadora and, like, I'm not a skeleton. I have a very human bladder. What if it acts up when I'm at, like 5% health left? Do I, like, get up and waddle to the bathroom? Do I grab a bile flask?
I guess. Just remember to clean it afterward.
Yeah.
They're called
You don't want that
bioflasks.
stuff getting into your bloodstream.
They're called bioflasks. How clean do they get? It's a never mind. I get what you mean. And I adore that an entire game-wide quest like that ties back in by having you fight essentially the real owner of the crypt. That fell out front was just the secretary.
we found her. We found the bone owner.
And you know what? That's one giant boner felled.